Having worked in higher education for over 16 years, I've often seen how the academic world mirrors the spiritual life. And one example that strikes me is the concept of major and minors. In college, students are required to declare a major, and that major becomes their primary focus, the set of courses that shapes their training, their skills, and ultimately their career. And some also choose a minor, which is secondary, meaningful, but not actually central to their career. And I've learned that what's true in the classroom is also true in the kingdom of God. Too often we spend our lives majoring in minors, giving our time and our energy and our passion to things that don't matter in eternity, while neglecting the true majors God has called us to. But I believe it's time for us as believers to major in our major. So what does that mean? In the Christian faith, there are certain non-negotiables, things that carry eternal weight. These are our majors. The first is salvation through Jesus Christ, right? Jesus said in John 14, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Salvation is not optional. It's the foundation of everything, right? Without Christ, everything else crumbles. And that means each day we must live with gratitude for the cross, reminding ourselves, I am saved to serve, not saved to sit. And another major is love. When asked about the greatest commandment, Jesus didn't point to rituals or titles. He said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Love is not an elective. It is the core course of Christianity. And without it, our prayers, our worship, our sacrifices are empty. And each day we should pause and ask ourselves, did my words and action reflect love? And then intentionally look for ways to demonstrate love through kindness, through forgiveness, or even just generosity. And then faith and obedience are also majors, right? Hebrews 11 says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. Faith is like the engine of the Christian life, but obedience is the steering wheel, right? So faith without obedience is powerless. God isn't just calling us to believe, he's calling us to act. Every day we should ask, Lord, where are you asking me to trust you? And then respond in obedience, even when it feels uncomfortable, right? Character is another major. Galatians 5 tells us that the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Gifting may open doors, but our character keeps you there, right? So God is more concerned with who you are becoming than what you are achieving. Each week, choose one fruit to focus on, maybe patience, maybe self-control, and allow God to refine that area in your life. And then there's purpose, right? Your God-given calling. Acts 20 and 24 recalls Paul saying, my only aim is to finish the race and complete the task the Lord has given me. Every believer has an assignment, a lane to run in. Some callings are global, some are local, but all are eternal. And your joy and fulfillment are tied to whether you complete it, right? So start your mornings by asking, Lord, what is my assignment today? And then measure your decisions against that answer. So what does it mean to major in your major, right? It means aligning your priorities with God's priorities. It means refusing to waste your life on arguments, distractions, or applause, and instead building your life around what truly matters: salvation, love, faith, character, and purpose. And when you major in your major, you live with intentionality. You become unshakable because your focus is eternal, not temporary, right? And the Bible reminds us of this again and again in Micah 6 that says, what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercifully, and to walk humbly before your God. And Hebrews 12 tells us to lay aside every weight and run with perseverance the race set before us. And then Paul, at the end of his life, declared in 2 Timothy that I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Paul majored in his major. He stayed in his lane. He focused on his assignment and he finished strong. But let's be honest, many people don't. Why? Because of distraction, chasing applause, trends, or endless debates, because of comparison, running after, someone else's and calling instead of their own. because of busyness, filling their schedules with good things, but not the God thing. And sometimes because of fear or doubt, they shrink back from fully committing to what God has placed in front of them, right? So let me leave this with you with two reflections, right? First, ask yourself, am I giving, God the best of my time, my energy? Am I, majoring in the things that God calls me to major in, or am I minoring in the things that God doesn't want me to really focus on? And then are you walking out, what salvation looks like for you, what faith and love and forgiveness and the weight of your major. So I call you today to major in your major and don't spend your life majoring in minors, and then anchor yourself in salvation, live in love, walk in faith and obedience, build godly character, pursue your purpose with passion. And when you do, you'll finish your race strong. You'll fulfill your calling. And one day you'll hear those words we all long to hear. Well done, good and faithful servant.